Hi everybody. Hi Marieta.
Hello. Hi, Aurora.
This is Marieta and myself, Aurora, from the MultiDimensional Comedy Club. And we are again very excited to start a new topic for today. But first, I would like to um, tell you what lateral thinking is, because I think that that is a term that's not understood. I might be speaking just from what I'm thinking. But anyway, lateral thinking, and this is what Multidimensional Comedy Club is all about, is a manner of solving problems using an indirect and creative approach via reasoning that is not immediately obvious. It involves
Okay.
ideas that may not be obtained using only traditional step-by-step logic. So no logic, not that logical. So that is why our comedy club, our multi-dimensional comedy club, is existing in that way. And that is what we're enjoying to discuss with everybody who's watching. Thank you for
Yes,
coming.
that's a great explanation about how we do things, how we talk and think about and view about things, subjects.
Yeah,
So
like today's subject is about, and before we start, I've got my cup of coffee,
yes, I have my tea,
and we are ready for the morning.
big cup.
Cheers. Nice. And we're going to be talking about tinfoil hats.
Yes,
So, the reason we're bringing tinfoil hats in is because we felt like it.
yes.
And
That's funny to think about them, but when you start thinking about it, then it got serious. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
so I've got a few thoughts here on tinfoil hats. I know that when everybody hears the word tinfoil hat, the first thing they think is conspiracy theories. But I've got some information on pages here. Uh, tinfoil hat, if you think about it, is made out of tinfoil and you put it on your head to protect you from being bombarded by external frequencies. So now we're not mocking tinfoil hats essentially, but in realistically, a tinfoil hat is not the most ideal thing to wear anyway, because tin, as far as I know, permits those toxic frequencies to come in anyway. So this is just a lateral discussion on Tinfoilhattery. I've just made that up. So
Great word.
what do you, so what is your experience of something that is, that one could say we create for ourselves, almost like an excuse, perhaps, maybe not even the right word, but what would be your thoughts on tinfoil hats? How do you feel? Or just random, whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah. When I at first thought about the tinfoil hat, in Dutch it's Alu-hoedje, and that's why it was funny, Alu-hoedje, and it's yeah. I thought only people who are just a little crazy are wearing them because they are afraid of things or afraid that energy is coming. To invade in their head or in their mind or in their thinking. And what you said, yeah, the aluminium, the tinfoil won't protect them, so it has no use for it.
Mm.
And then I did look up some pictures about it, and some are just like a capture or like, and some have antennas on it, so they receive
Yeah,
things or something. And yeah, I think it's it's something you can use or for protection or to receive things, like everything you can use stones, or you can use, yeah, you can also use an alu-hoedje.
I think what you're saying there is very important, because essentially its origin really comes from uh, a long time ago, not just in the 60s. The term tinfoil hat came in the 60s, in 62. But the original story about it is really written by an author called Julian Huxley. And he wrote a story on his brother Aldous Huxley, who wrote about A Brave New World. Now, Brave New World is about the New World Order right now. And I think what he meant by bringing in this, so basically he brought in the term the tissue culture king. And you can look at it in two ways. The first way you can look at it is it is a culture, well, to give an example of what a tissue culture means, is a tissue culture is really, according to the etymology, says tissue culture is the growth of tissues or cells in an artificial medium separate from the parent organism. And it is typically facilitated via the use of a liquid, semi-solid, solid growth, etc., or in such as broth or agar, so fluid, so water. So if we go alchemy, and if we understand what this means, it means that we're speaking about a culture, which doesn't necessarily mean the actual plant itself or an organic thing, but I'm speaking about the culture as in people culture, which has grown up separate or with the understanding of being separate from its original parent organism. That's my lateral spin or lateral thought that I've got on exactly what tissue culture means. And then from there on, obviously, it was written as the tissue culture was written as a person who was he was an endocrinologist, and he wrote about his ways of creating this culture, and this is of course all figuratively speaking, so no logical thinking here when I'm sharing this, just a figurative explanation about the word tissue culture, which then becomes the tinfoil hat wearer, the person who wants to break away from its original existence. It's almost like living apart from or separate from their origin is really where I'm going with this. So tinfoil hat, yes, must not be seen as something physical, essentially, even though it does have a physical interpretation, but it is a figurative explanation on us as human nature, as humanity, living apart from our ancestry, I think. I know this is quite a heavy subject. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, I just like threw all of it on you right now.
I can feel you have a lot of information you want to share at the same time. And but about what notice wat me opviel, it's the part like being separated from the original.
That's right.
From the original nature. But that's, I think, the struggle for humanity now is that we are separated from our original.
Exactly.
That we are too far away from where we are coming from.
Yeah.
But what's our goal on this earth and what's our purpose on this earth? And when you look at the tinfoil hats, then maybe it's a device to be more connected to the original. Be not disturbed by distraction or by energy that wants us to distract from the original human being.
Yes. And I actually think, to add on to what you're saying, that this distraction of of believing, and I'm taking the previous discussion that we had about belief, and I know that moved a lot of commentary. Thank you everybody for commenting on that. But belief was discussed in its lateral explanation of what is still apparent in our human society. And so bringing in the perception of the fact that we are either perceiving that we are completely an isolated, living, single organism separate from our original self. I know that there are those who fight that and those who are understanding that. And so duality comes in as well, where if I see myself, then who do I really see? Do I see me, or do I see my forefathers? And if I see my forefathers, do I have the respect and the honor for that tradition that was brought through, or do I have the respectful awareness that I can change that tradition to something that is perhaps more human-like, or perhaps less domineering, or I think why we thought about bringing up the subject is we're questioning human society and the culture of being a human, not so much human society and their independent cultures, but human nature as a human culture is to be social, right?
Yes, yes. I think the social part is the biggest thing where we need it. We need to feed ourselves by it. Like we have now that social distance thing
Yeah,
that it's really distracting people. People need the connection with other people. We need to be in connection with ourselves, but also with other people. And in evolution we are in, we connected more with other people, and now it's also taken away, like it's taken away from us.
mm,
And but maybe it's also an opportunity to be more connected with yourself
yes, that,
again.
that is
So
exactly
that's
true. Yeah,
that's the
I agree with
thought
you
I,
there.
I just came up with now. Like when we don't connect to so much with other people, maybe we can reconnect with ourselves and with our original state of being.
Yes,
And I think, yeah, we are this race on earth like human beings, but we are not alone, and we are not separate. We are part of the whole,
yeah,
and we are essential. We are an essential race in the whole of the universe. I think a lot of people are just looking at becoming something else, and and also, yeah, like it's a lesser part of the universe being a human being, but
yeah,
I think it's essential. And when we see ourselves as an essential being,
yeah.
then we will come in a totally different energy field.
I agree. And in that way, we won't be feeling the need to wear a tinfoil hat, to
Yes,
be selective. I think what I understand in what you're saying there, if I can add to what you're saying, is
yes,
human society tends to become selective about what is understood and what is acceptable, what is essential, what is non-essential. It's very interesting that you bring that up, because my mind is going literally reasoning it all in the sense that wholeness is an essential necessity, because if we cannot be whole and in peace within ourselves, in without others around us, then how can we expect then to experience wholeness and peace around us, if we can't feel it within us. It's the same thing when people ask, every day they ask, can you tell me, will I find someone to love me? It's always the same question in various ways, clients. And the answer to that is yes, yes, you'll find someone to love you if you start to love yourself. So yes, we will have essential existence, authenticity, wholeness, if we feel it for ourselves first. In terms of creation, I think I spoke about this with you a long while ago, but I can't remember exactly. But I read something about light that has to see itself before it can become aware that it is light. So when light is the same as creating something, intent is in place here, then the intent is projected outward through the heart, through the voice, sound, and in that way, that creation of that expectation takes place, and then you witness or observe that creation. And so the same thing applies to the what is in must happen, will also automatically happen around us. Gosh, Tinfoilhat has a lot of side arms with regards to this discussion. It's really going really lateral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you look back at the tinfoil hat, it's like you're putting on the hat and you are boundary. Like it's like a hat, like you don't go out or side.
Yeah.
But to interact with other people, with nature, with yourself, you have to let the energy flow.
Yeah.
And energy can be good or bad or whatever, but it has to flow. Whatever it is, it has to flow.
Yeah.
So when you put on the tinfoil hat, then there's a possibility that the energy will stop, and then you are stuck. And then when what you're talking about getting somebody to love you, you have first to love yourself.
Yeah.
And I agree with it totally. But it's also saying to people like it's your own fault. And then
Yes, next in.
I get some kind of
Resistance.
because I don't want to say it's your fault, because I heard that a lot in the past in my past life. So uh, I think when you have that idea about loving somebody, wanted to uh, get somebody in your life that loves you, then you have to let that energy flow. You just
Okay.
And when you have it only in your head, it doesn't go flowing. But when you project it to other people, that you accept somebody will come, you allow yourself to be loved by yourself, by other people, by that that there is somebody for everybody is somebody else to love. There's always.
Yeah.
Like the saying in Dutch. Op ieder potje past een dekseltje. And
Yes, yes,
yeah,
pretty
so
much.
for everybody is somebody else. There's always somebody who will love you.
Yeah.
So when that only that phrase is true for you,
Yeah.
then somebody will come.
Yes, that is correct. I would agree with you there as well, fully. Um, it's still though, do you not think that that process also then requires a sense of intention that starts from somewhere? I mean, if
Yeah,
we
the
believe that
intention is always the start from everything.
yeah. So then in actual fact, wearing a tinfoil hat really does essentially nothing for you, because whether you want to be isolated or not, you're still going to be experiencing the rays of energy coming at you. So essentially, you're considering yourself as a separate culture apart from your original paternal, maternal origin, then you are fooling yourself. So in other words, those who see themselves will also see their forefathers. You'll always be in that energy. In other words, Great Spirit, God, universal consciousness, whatever the name is for the deity or the entity or the energy in its full existence, is never separate from itself. It is, even when it is observing itself through culture, observing itself in action, paused moments, or in solitary moments, or in social moments. So social distancing, yes, if we transmute it and we use alchemy and we change the format of understanding that, we will say that social distancing is really essentially individual connectivity. How's that?
Yes, yes,
So,
that's a nice word. Individual connecting. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a difficult word, but yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah. That's always for everything is a opposite,
yes,
opposite word or opposite position or an opposite. It's always, and yes, that word we have to go that
I'll try,
globally.
I'll try and make it viral.
Yeah, yeah, go with viral. Yes, yes, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah. It's
kind of
viral.
thing.
It's such a bad word for it, though. So it means like
Yeah.
making it contagious. But anyway, I'll try and spread it around as much as I can. Um, Individual connectivity, if you want to abbreviate it, it's almost like I see. So I see me. I see within me.
I see myself. Yeah,
Yes,
yes, yes. And when I see myself, I see my ancestors.
yes,
I see total being of human being,
correct.
being human being. Yes,
Yes, exactly. And in that way, even if I fight with my forefathers and I curse them whenever I do, for example, why did you come to this country? Why did you do this? Why? 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 So I actually essentially then question my originality. I question my, this is good for me today, this information, because I was wondering with regards to where I am. If where I am is because of my ancestry, and I'm talking about earthling experience, not when we came here, we decided to see the earth with our original consciousness. I'm not speaking about that because we know who we are. But I'm speaking about our human existence, which is just another role to exist in. And if I am angry with my ancestors that have come to this particular country or this environment, then I really essentially then question my existence. And then if I question my existence, then what I do is I then wear the tinfoil hat, because I want to then be, no, I don't want to know about that story. I want to hear about, I want to do this. I want to follow that story, pointy tinfoil hat story. And yeah, yeah, basically we are coming back to the same thing again, where we're transmuting the information. We're changing the information by essentially coming to the same explanation about being a whole existence. I know I just went like completely very deep right now.
yes, yeah, yeah. I'm like
So,
um, let that energy be for a while. Like yeah, always the question why is this, why is that, um, and then you can say, yeah, you did make a choice and you did
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
I think there's a lot more about behind that why, and we can't answer that why. That why that's so big, so far. It's so a lot of information behind it, I think we can't grasp what's behind the why.
You know, I think, excuse me, I think that the tissue culture, I'm bringing that back in because it keeps drawing my eyes, about the culture is growing in an artificial medium separate from the parent organism, which is what tissue culture means. The culture exists in an artificial society made, or not society, perhaps artificial um, environment, because things that we create with our hands are essentially things that are artificially connect examples of us. So if I've made something and I've painted a picture, then that is an artificial representation of my energy that I've put in place. Not so, would you say?
Yes, yes,
So
exactly.
if society has been forced, or perhaps being duped, or perhaps being perhaps there was a contract where there was a subjection to agree to live in the belief that it has a separate existence from its original source, aka tissue culture, or and or tinfoil hat wearer, then we must change that by reflecting back again to ourselves as perhaps the forefathers of who and what we want to have go forward from us, irrespective whether we have children or not. When I say forefathers, I'm not speaking about the genealogy of actually having children. I'm not speaking about just only that. I'm speaking about people that we connect with, friends that we speak with, where we're projecting the embodiment of wholeness at all times. I keep going back to the same thing. Same like you. We keep going back to the same thing.
Yeah,
Elke,
yeah,
every pot will get its lid, its unique lid. Elke skewe pot kry 'n skewe deksel. Elke potjie kry 'n deksel in Afrikaans.
yeah, yeah,
And that is exactly what it's all about. So when I see myself in the mirror, I see my forefathers. When I see my forefathers, I have to become aware that there is a reason uh, why they exist within me, even if, like we were talking about the why. Um, Perhaps we mustn't ask why. Perhaps I'm
yeah.
speaking about of myself as well.
A lot of times I try to avoid the question why, because the answer won't come, or I won't get the answer, or the answer won't be satisfying. So I try to go more like, what can I do? What can I do to change this situation, or to make this better, or make this um, more connecting with me, or more easy for me, and not like, why are people doing things? Like, I get on Facebook some comment from somebody else. It was not in my line, but in somebody else's line. And that person asked, like, I don't understand why they don't understand. So my answer was, um, I better say it, um, like she was saying, I I don't know precise, but it's not that important. But my answer was, I don't understand why you don't understand. So just that understanding from why people are doing things, you never will understand, because they do
Yeah,
that because you want to do that.
I agree
So
with you.
it's not the why question, the why question, is not a question you will get answers by. You just can look at yourself and just look at, what can I do? What can I change? What's my part of it?
Yeah,
Who am I?
I understand what you're saying. So in actual fact, all questions and all answers are really within oneself at all times,
Yes,
irrespective of wearing a tinfoil hat, irrespective of having a belief system or a perception or a thought projected idea that one is separate from the other. We are all essentially together as a one whole essential organism, organic in our existence, because when we leave this body, the body goes to the earth. It becomes worm food, to be so very clear here. There is no immortality unless, in the physical flesh form, unless you're a eugenicist, unless you're believing in creating artificial existence where you think you can clone a body and magically manipulate it to become a physical existing form, and then somehow you're going to have a ritual where you're going to coax a soul to go in there, because I can tell you right now, the idea of how a soul is created is a good thing that no one knows. It's a good thing because
yeah, because then they will go and um, create something similar, like
yeah,
the artificial human being.
yes,
They are trying to create that, and
yeah,
it's always lesser than the original,
it always
and
is. Yes,
it's only, yeah, they never did find a human being or a artificial human being that was better than the original human being.
there's always something wrong with the second
Yeah,
one. There's always something wrong with the sequel of a movie as well. It always sucks. It's bad. The second part is
yeah,
always disgusting because it's never got the original creative energy from the first one. And if we can start seeing that we are actually essentially our forefathers within our present selves, really that's where I'm going with this, then the tinfoil hat or the tinfoil suit that is being created right now in this society can go stuff itself there.
yeah. That's a really good remark. Like the tinfoil suit, because when we have artificial intelligence, like robots and things, they are looking like tinfoil.
Exactly.
So, like when somebody is wearing a tinfoil hat, everybody is laughing. But why are they laughing? Are they laughing because it's funny? Because they are feeling themselves uneased? Like, oh, then I will laugh, and then it's not so bad, or then I am not part of it, or then I am with a group of people who dismiss it or whatever.
Hmm.
But now artificial intelligence is coming, and
Hmm.
it's all looking like tinfoil.
It is. And so more
And
and more they're trying, we're speaking about the transhumanist movement, where they are little tiny little people who think that they are gods creating things, just like I was actually researching something interesting, which I think I will want to bring out at some point about how to spot a liar when, and I'm dropping a note here on to see what Bill Gates looks like. And I can tell you for a fact that is not a human being. That is a tinfoil man, because his experiences and his facial features and all that. I'm just jumping into one side now, and I won't take it over. Uh, is that he is essentially a program. His name, Gates, the Bill of Gates. Which Gates is he the Bill? Is he the controller of? I'm even wondering if that's even his real name. That is a tinfoil man. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
yeah, yeah,
Because we can
yeah,
go,
but yeah, we can go and put fingers on people
Mhm.
and they are all the bad people and they are the liars or whatever. But then you have to go and look farther in their history, like why are they in that position and how they come in that position and how they were manipulated and everything. So maybe you have to feel sorry for them and just react on them differently. Not have to
Yeah.
be not like it's okay what they do, but when you feel sorry for them and you take a step back and look at them, what they are doing, then they are their power. They have been given that power, and that power is not there anymore when you don't look at them like they are the one who are liars or are manipulating or whatever. When you say they, when you feel sorry for them,
Mhm.
then their energy doesn't stick anymore.
Then they're disempowered, pretty much.
You disempower them.
Yes, and then we don't have to worry about the fact that they're controlling everything, because essentially, if we look at the entire whole system in itself, it will have these artificial sides to it as well. And perhaps then I'm taking it even further from where you have left it, and we're going to wrap this up in a few minutes. That perhaps all of that influence and force from external elements is also assisting us to question ourselves even more so. And so perhaps the villain in this story is really a necessity to help me to fight, to learn about myself, to help me to become a stronger person for me. And then perhaps that the lesson in all of this is really to not question why our forefathers chose to come here, or why we chose to become originally seeded beings of this planet, or this version of this planet rather, that we are just experiencing, we are God experiencing ourselves in myriad of faces.
Yes, and how can I be the best part of
Oh,
this experience?
perfect. Exactly.
That's the only thing we have to do. Be the best part you can be.
For yourself, of course.
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah,
When you do it for yourself, you do it for the entire world.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you don't have to focus on anything or anybody or whatever. You just have to focus on yourself.
So we're going to leave this with everybody. Thank you so much for walking with us on this little narrow path. It was quite a very remarkable path of discussion of the Tinfoihattery and the tissue culture. Uh,
Yes. Say
Thank you
one
very
more time
much.
that word you are from your inner, that special word from not social distance, but
Oh, your inner connectivity, inner connection.
inner connectivity. Yes,
Yes,
that's a good word.
I see.
Yes.
I love it. Inner connectivity versus social distancing. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you very
We
much,
will
everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.
see you soon. Bye bye.